Welcome to the Xkelet App tutorial. Next, you open the application and enter with our previously assigned username and password. If you do not have it, you can always click on Recover Password, and you will receive an email from where you can configure it again and enter the application. You will click Accept to enter the application, where the main screen will appear. Next, we can access the profile area and our user information. You can also find out about the terms and conditions. As you can see, you also have direct access to the web from the app. Next, we will return to the beginning, and there we will create the first patient. Here you can see that we have different fields to fill out. In the description field, you can enter the description necessary to identify the patient, whether it is a code number or name. For our part, these data are processed anonymously since we do not monitor the patient. Next, you will fill in the other fields such as address, city, date of birth, gender, height, weight, and proceed to save. Once you have filled out the fields, we will click on the icon button, More, which is to the right of the patient profile icon, and we will access the injury section. To add the first injury, we press Add Injury, selecting the type of immobilization desired for the patient. The selector allows you to select from the product portfolio in two categories: the Full Products category and the Open Products category. For more information, you can access the Xkelet website. Next, you can choose the different parameters of the selected immobilization, such as the number of closures, the closure system, the length of the immobilization, the right or left side of the immobilization, the palm angle of the immobilization, whether it is required to immobilize the thumb or not, length, and finally the offset. This is the distance between the skin and the immobilization, and it will be applied depending on whether there is any post-inflammatory process or simply for the patient's comfort. You will press the Accept button, and we will enter the injury section. Next, on the injury screen, you have the options to scan, the option to copy a scan, and the option to generate immobilization manually. You also have a field to add images, and a field to add descriptions. In order to use the app, you always have to enable device location. Next, you will begin by generating an immobilization manually by pressing the Manual button. Once inside the section, you will begin to follow the guide, which tells us how to proceed in each case, taking the appropriate measures, and entering them into the certain fields step by step. In the first case, you find the measurement that goes from the longest finger of the hand to the wrist. Next, the measurement that goes from the wrist to the part where the biceps flex. The next measurement is the one that goes from the tips of the fingers to the elbow. Next, you will measure the perimeters around the palm of the hand, trying to make the measuring tape fit the morphology of the hand, and without tightening. The next perimeter measurement will be that of the wrist. Same as the previous one, adjusting the tape well without tightening. The next measurement, in the case of the forearm, will be the perimeter measurement where the biceps flex. Next, you will find the median distance between the wrist and where the biceps flex. We will take the perimeter measurement without tightening. The next measurement, in this case when choosing thumb immobilization, will be the length from the base of the thumb to the tip of the finger. And finally, you will take the measurement of the perimeter of the thumb in the knuckle area. You will press the Finish button, and you will wait for it to generate the immobilization. With the immobilization generated, you can view it at different angles, rotate it, change the color of the part, change the color of the O-rings, and even change some aspects of the immobilization. If everything is correct, you will press the Upload button, which will upload the file to the cloud, and will allow us to access the immobilization generated through the panel. In the Patient section, you will see the patient immobilization generated. Next, you will create a freeze with the Scan tool. To do this, as before, you will choose the desired immobilization, and you will enter the immobilization parameters that you need for the patient. Once you have chosen the required parameters, you will enter the lesion area and press the Scan button. Immediately, the scanning screen in operation will appear, with its different parameters, and you will proceed to scan the patient. If you have doubts about carrying out the scanning process, visit our YouTube channel, the video of how to scan correctly. Next, you will see the scan of the desired limb, and where you can also proceed to cut the areas that do not interest us, so that the process is more precise. Once the desired areas have been cut, you press the ruler button, which appears on the right, which will allow us to generate the identification of the injury. Once the identification of the injury has been generated, and if all the measurements are correct, you will proceed to press the construction button above the identification button, to generate the immobilization construction process. If the entire process is correct, you will be able to view the immobilization carried out on the screen, and you will be able to proceed to change the color of the piece, the color of the closures, and even be able to make some type of modification. You will find it in the specifications icon at the bottom right, which will allow you to modify some parameters. If everything is correct, you will press the upload button, which will upload the file to the cloud, and will allow you to access the immobilization generated through the panel. Next, we will show you how the option to copy a scan and use it for another immobilization works. This system is very useful in the event that you have a scan performed, and you want to perform different types of immobilizations, or in case you generated the incorrect immobilization and the patient is no longer with you. This way you can recover the scan, and perform the immobilization you really wanted. Simply select the scan performed, press the gray button between the scan button and the manual generation button, and select the scan you want to use to perform the new immobilization. Next, as in a normal process, you will select the type of immobilization required, its parameters, and you will proceed to accept. Once inside, you will proceed as if it were a new scan, pressing the identification button and at the end of the process the construction button. Once the new immobilization is generated, you will have finished the process of generating this immobilization based on an old scan. Next, like any other of the generation process, you will be able to touch the colors as well as some parameters. If everything is correct, you will press the upload button, which will upload the file to the cloud, and will allow you to access the immobilization generated through the panel. In any of the three models of generating immobilizations, whether performing a new scan, copying an old scan, or using the manual tool, errors can occur. In this case, if the application informs you, you will be required to start the process again. In the upper left icon, you can also access the order area. Here you can manage, delete, and be informed of the immobilization manufacturing process, as well as some of its parameters. For more information, you can access the online panel from your phone or your computer. In case you want to register in the app, or recover your password, follow the simple steps in the application. Fill out the form and receive the data in your email. Check email is not in the spam folder. Thank you, and we hope you have a great user experience. For any questions, send an email to support@xkelet.com.